Hey everybody, today we're going to be taking a look at Sony's brand new wide-angle zooms, the 12-24 f4G and the brand new 16-35 2.8G Master. We've been waiting for this lens for a while. Let me say thank you so much to Lens Pro To Go for sponsoring this lens comparison. We would not be seeing it without their support. They have been fantastic, and I look forward to continue to bring these videos to you guys because of them. So when we're talking about these wide angle zooms, there are some interesting distinctions in the ecosystem of the Sony lens lineup. We have the G lenses, which are supposed to be as good as Canon L lenses. We have the Sony Zeiss lenses, which have been around for a while. And now we have the G Masters, which are considered top of the line for Sony. There's also some non-designated Sony FE lenses as well. And so they're in different tiers. I really believe they all have their own merits and they deserve to be tested individually. And so this is why I'm doing this test, is I want to see what we can learn strength and weakness wise. When we look at the specs, side-by-side comparison, the 12-24, it's smaller, it's lighter, super interesting. The one thing I didn't like about it out of the box was the dedicated leaf petal lens hood. This is something that cannot be removed. So as somebody who does a lot of landscape shooting, I have a ton of filters that I can easily adapt and use on the 16-35 G Master. This is an 82mm thread. The price differences, obviously, kind of expensive. $1,700 for the 12-24, $2,200 for the G Master, $500 difference. And because of the filter threads, that alone is going to kind of make it worth paying the extra money if you do landscape shooting with filters. So some of the good news I can share with you guys is that in terms of chromatic aberration and lens flaring, it's minimal in both lenses. I was really impressed. Now, the lens flare is there if you look for it. However, I shoot into sunsets a lot, and some of the problems I have with other camera manufacturers is it gets this really hard lens flare that is just a nightmare for me to work around. Both of these lenses are minimal. It's probably the best I've seen in any wide angle lenses. That's just my opinion. If you look for it, you can definitely find it. Now, one common problem with very wide angle lenses is in distortion. That's the bending of the image where it should be straight and even. Something about Sony's lenses is that they have software built into the cameras that help remove a lot of this distortion in vignetting. And you can go into lens compensation and turn it off and shoot again and to see the difference. So something that will probably happen in the future, I don't know when, is somebody's going to make a lens adapter to get Sony lenses to work on, let's say, Canon bodies. I think that's a really bad idea. In fact, I'm kind of adopting this philosophy that if you're shooting very wide, you should shoot native lenses on the respective bodies. And the reason is wide angle lenses, they have distortion and there's vignetting in the corners. So what camera manufacturers have done to overcome this is they install software to clean it up. That is a very important consideration. I don't recommend adapting these lenses to other camera bodies because of what I'm seeing distortion and vignetting wise. Next really important point is when we're talking about lens sharpness. And this is where they start to differentiate quite a bit. I like to shoot this brick wall I have outside. In the 12-24 in the center, it's really good. The corners just feel a little soft to me. And I don't think most people would notice it, but to somebody who pixel peeps like 3 or 4 times a week, definite advantage to the G Master, even at 2.8. Even when you stop them down to f8, I think the G Master still has the advantage enough to justify that extra $500. So I also took both lenses out on the A7R2 and the A9 and did lots of real world tests from landscapes to indoor, tight space shooting. I even did a product shoot for a new camera strap I have coming out. And what I learned was that the 12-24 f4, this I see as a specialist lens, particularly if you do a lot of real estate, indoor shooting, architecture, especially if you're on sticks and you can stop it down just a little bit, maybe f8. Phenomenal lens. And those 4mm in very tight spaces make a huge difference, you know, when you're going for perspective and you want that depth. I have a friend who's remodeling his closet and he wanted me to come take some pictures, and side by side, it is no contest. The 12-24 is a far better lens for that particular task. I think in certain landscape type shooting situations, if you're going for a certain perspective, if you want very deep rooms or really stretched out, you know, maybe buildings on the outside, this is very interesting in terms of being a unique tool. The 16-35 2.8, I see this as a more of a general purpose, all-round lens. It's faster, it's sharper from center to corner. It's amazing, and I think the cost is justified simply because we have the lens threads. If you shoot with filters and you have filters for an 82mm, you know, lens, you can use them and you wouldn't have to absorb that extra cost of adapting to this. If you're serious about buying these lenses and you want to try them out first, check out Lens Pro to Go. I'll put the links in the description. Check out their social media. They give out coupons all the time. Maven 10 at checkout will always save you 10%. If you guys or somebody you know is struggling to learn your Sony cameras, Canon, Nikon, Olympus, Panasonic, I also have training videos on all of them, and I'll put that link there as well. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.